Like, oh, that's like success. You buy a house and you can show it off on Instagram and you can take a photo of it.
It's a win-win situation.
Hello guys, today we are gonna review Tash investments in an interview that she did with Equity Maze. Let's watch it.
That's how you want to be known. We have a real financial influencer, so I feel like you're a bit nervous and that's why you screwed up the intro.
He just died inside.
It is our pleasure to welcome Natasha Etchman to the studio. How
Thank
are you,
you so
Tash?
much. Good. What a cool intro, an actual financial influencer. I love that.
Why everybody consider themselves a financial influencer when they say this is not a financial advice? But what does it mean influencing somebody?
Actually, true. My first investment was really good. I bought an S&P 500 index when I was 18, and that's done really well.
Well, that was a good investment. I cannot say anything about that.
So,
Yes.
yeah.
Nice.
Must be nice.
Yeah.
We in our expert interviews, we often ask people's first investments, and there's a lot of bad stories, not so many good ones.
I lost quite a bit of money from that.
So I think you're doing better than a lot of the experts. After
Yeah.
your first investment.
I didn't know what I was doing, so it was really, really lucky.
True or false, you had a strategy in place before you started investing.
False. Definitely false. I had no idea what I was doing.
If you didn't know what you were doing, it's not a gamble. Why do you call it an investment?
I've bought so many ETFs, like my portfolio was a bit of a mess, but we're fixing it now.
Yeah, you're really fixing it.
Is investing as hard as you thought before you started?
False. It's so much easier. I imagined it being really hard, but no, once you understand the basics, it's easy. Buy and hold forever.
If you buy shit, it's gonna be shit even if you hold forever. It's not gonna change. Well, it's easy to get an average. Yes, it's easy. But actually making more than average is pretty hard. And by the way, how can you say it's easy when you actually are not making any decision? As we'll see afterwards.
Nice, done. And I work as a support worker and I'm studying occupational therapy, so completely unfinance related.
That's actually a good example. She's working hard for her money, okay? I prize that.
It turns out people find my money pretty interesting.
Have you ever asked yourself why they find it interesting?
How are they finding your money interesting? Are you putting it up online? What's
Yeah.
the tactic?
So I pretty much share. I'm super open. I share what I earn, how I save, what I invest in, what my money goals are. Who am I to be on podcasts like this?
Yeah, that's the real question.
I openly do net worth updates, share how much I'm investing, share what I'm spending. People loved when I shared what I earned as well.
You are shilling your achievements. Why? What is the need for it? Can you just share what you're saving and what you're investing? No, because otherwise you wouldn't have any attention. Everybody cares just about the number, how much you make.
You bought your first ETF when you were 18. Oh, what was your journey to that point?
My parents have always been property investors.
That's what is good about this girl. She's transparent. She admits that she had a backup behind her. She didn't have a fear in the world to invest because she had a backup. And that's fine. Nothing wrong with it.
So my goal initially was to buy a house, but I had to save for a deposit, obviously.
In this point, you can realize she's remembering her dad saying no when she asked for a deposit for a bigger house.
Dad just told me to buy it. And I was like, okay, cool, I'll buy it.
Yeah, I cannot end up insolvent anyway. I have somebody else backing me up.
Turns out it worked really well.
And there is nothing wrong with this. What I found wrong is when somebody tried to hide their multi-million-dollar boyfriend, calling they have a hard life, they work at the Meccas and everything else.
I've had two sides to my family, one that was really wealthy and one that was not so wealthy. And I kind of identified where I wanted to be in life. Yeah, I kind of just want financial freedom in general. My goal at the moment is to build $1 million share portfolio. I love the freedom and choice that comes with having money.
As everybody else, sweetheart.
Are you following a FIRE strategy?
I guess so, but I don't really like the super frugal aspect of FIRE and the retire early bit of FIRE. I really love working and I love my job.
I don't have two hands to clap, but I would say, bravo!
I just want the freedom to change jobs and for work to be fun and like something that adds value to my life.
This is great. Something that add value to my life. Not just focus on money or retire early. She loves her job. She wants just something that adds value to her life. This is great.
Instead of something you need to survive, because that seems really stressful.
Yeah, people that are not backed up by parents are really stressed all the time. Yes, they are.
My first investment, I had no idea what I was doing, so I just bought it and then I left it sitting there being like, oh, I'll see what happens and if I lose all my money. And then I saved and bought my apartment last year. Yeah, the start of last year, like during COVID. And then I started Tash Invest a few months after that. So it was like 6-7 months ago now. Yeah, but it's been like insane since I started it. It's been a crazy journey.
That's why it's so easy for her making investments. Go for an apartment. Because she doesn't have to worry about things. It's not a problem. As long as you recognize that is the reality and not making it as something hard, because it's not hard. She is backed up. If she loses all her money, she's backed up. She has a good salary, she works great, she admits everything. That's fine, I'm fine with it. As long as people know where are you coming from, because they cannot compare themselves with you when you start from a really privileged position. Okay?
The question I always get is like, where do I start?
Yeah, where do you start? From reading books, that's what should be your answer.
And there's so many like conflicting like theories and ways to invest as well.
Yes, there are conflicting theories. Why? Because there is so much misinformation given to people. Because people that don't know what they are doing are sharing information. The wrong thing about being an influencer is that you are influencing people. Okay? Like those two guys, they don't have a bloody idea of what they are doing. You have a not really good idea of what you're doing as well. The other girl in the other videos, she doesn't have a bloody clue even how to get out of the door of her house. So what does it give you the entitlement to be an influencer?
And how do you answer that question?
Oh, all these podcasts.
That's the problem. Hearing information from podcasts, from people that don't know what they are doing, or people that they don't completely understand everything. Even professionals make big mistakes of judgment. How can you get information from people with so small amount of knowledge? This shouldn't be allowed.
The first one was, what are some of your more risky investments?
Bitcoin.
We both own Bitcoin. In terms of other risky stocks, I've cleared out most of tiny caps, tiny like micro cap stocks that I think are going to do incredibly well. I think I've grown up a bit and I've moved on from that phase and cleared most of them out now.
Did you grow up a bit? The problem is always misinformation and ignorance. You give an opinion based on your ignorance. Do you have so much capital to allocate that you have to go in big companies? No, you don't. So the best investment is in micro and nano cap. I'm not talking about mining company. I'm not talking about biotech. There are really good companies with great financials, with no problem of liquidity, that are much better investments of large caps or mega caps. But the problem is you don't know how to read them. That's why you think you grow up. You didn't grow up. You just protect yourself from your ignorance.
Yeah. Something I would like to get more involved in somehow is the pre-IPO stuff. Get some money in before they go boom on the stock market. But getting access to that is pretty tricky.
As any new person joining the investment community, you always go through that phase of FOMO. As you can see, I want to join the IPO before they boom. Most of the IPO go bust or lose money from IPO. So that's just a reality. It does just shows your poor understanding.
So it's Bitcoin for me.
Yeah.
What about yourself?
Oh, I bought an inverse leverage ETF like back during COVID, and I managed to buy it at the bottom of COVID.
Leverage ETFs are not instruments for long term. And her way of holding forever is gonna be impacted with this. You shouldn't have leverage ETFs on longer period of time because you have rebalancing issues, you have high fees, and many other negative stuff. But she doesn't know that because she doesn't do the research. She just buy thinking everything is okay.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so I lost I put like $8,000 in because I was being a bit, yeah.
Yeah, that's fine if you are backed up. If you don't have responsibility, if you don't have a family, everything is fine.
I was like, oh, I'm a great investor. I've made heaps of money. So threw $8,000 in and lost like 6K pretty quickly, but that's fine. I'm yet to buy Bitcoin
Was
though.
that the B-Bus?
Yeah, BBOZ.
Yeah, B-Bus. Yeah, B-Bus.
Yeah.
Yeah. In our community, when we hit COVID, tried to time the market with a lot of these inverse ETFs, and
That's a sad thing. He says community, we try to time the market. Because you cannot think clear when other people are talking. When everybody is supporting each other, doing bad decision, it's much easier to don't think clearly and lose money. You cannot time the market. Full stop. You cannot do it.
Yeah, definitely when I didn't have as much money, like I could imagine if like COVID happened in a few more years and I had a lot more money to play with, that could have been very tragic.
And that's again is the problem about have people talking, speaking about finance when they don't have a clue what they are doing.
Nice, done.
Yeah, it's so funny. We could lose money for our stupidity. It's just a laugh. That's what you shouldn't listen to people like this because for them, it's not a problem if they lose money.
I had one about how Equity Mates is now valued at $1 million.
yes, that is what it is valued at.
What?
And just started it as a way to talk to fund managers and CEOs. Told them we had a massive podcast when we had like 3 listeners.
Yeah.
Nice, done.
Fake it until you don't make it, isn't it?
You know, there's plenty of people out there trying to do what we're all doing.
Well, you know what they say. You only live once, right?
Around the idea of imposter syndrome.
You know what they say. Shoot for the moon, and even if you miss, you'll end up among the stars.
Yeah, of course there are a lot of people that want to do what you are doing. So talking about stuff you don't know and selling it. What better idea is it? Selling air. That's wonderful.
I find it really interesting because I feel it sometimes when all these cool people want to talk to me and I'm like, who am I to be on podcasts like this?
Who are all of you to be on a podcast talking about finance? Who are you?
So yeah, I'd love to know how you guys feel about it.
That I'm incredibly aware that a large percentage of the Equity Mates audience is smarter than me. I won't speak for you, but and knows more than me, and so I'm very aware of that. And so I guess there's a little bit of imposter syndrome.
If you recognize that, why you don't shut the fuck up? What is your entitlement to talk about finance and shilling out your not knowledge to people that have actually less knowledge than you? While you are talking, you give away bad informations and they get those information in their head. So they just assume that is right. What is wrong with you guys?
But where our whole position, you know, our first tagline when we started Equity Mates was like, made for everybody by nobody.
In these circumstances, what's the point to have a community? If there are no good informations to be shared between members, what's the point of sharing bad information with each other? What's their point?
If we were holding ourselves out as experts and saying like, this is what you should buy, you know, this is what the market's going to do, there would be a lot more imposter syndrome than what we're trying to do, which is we are who we are. we've managed to build a community and we want to use that to give you guys access.
You have a bloody microphone talking about finance to hundreds of thousands of people. Stop shielding yourself behind this bullshit. Stop shielding yourself. You are talking to people, giving bad information. Full stop. There is no true or false. That's the reality.
I think maybe because on social media the feedback is so instant when you post something
True.
versus like this, you're not hearing it straight away. But like when I post something and then people comment straight away, I'm like, oh, like who am I to be talking about this?
Who is she? Who is she?
But I think it's in the same way I've kind of framed it like this is my money journey and this is what
Yeah.
I'm doing. Feel free to do whatever you want.
Yes, Tash, that is your position. But you have to realize that what you're doing is followed by other people. You can shield yourself out of this position. But when you call yourself influencer, you are influencing people. Do you understand what that means? So don't shield yourself from this bullshit. Okay? You show something to people and people are gonna follow you because they see a big number. And that's what you're doing. Okay? Don't hide it.
But I feel it's hard when you post something and people critique the shit or people critique it and you're just like, like I didn't want that. I didn't want that criticism. Like I'm not ready for that criticism yet. Especially because people are like, oh, what do you invest in? And then I share and then people give me all this feedback about it. And it's like, no, that's the best for me. I don't want to like go into a discussion about it right now.
Yeah.
So if you don't want to discuss or you don't want to read negative comments, don't go online. Nobody obligates you to go online. You put yourself there and you should accept criticism. If you are ignorant that is projecting herself as great, it's your problem, really, and you should accept it. And I'm not want to be negative against you. I don't agree with your investment, okay? I don't agree. I really like that you are transparent. I really like that you work harder for what you're doing. Don't get me wrong.
But you kind of can't ignore it on social media either.
Yeah.
We get. I try and not look at the social media comments outside of our discussion group, just because it's like no one needs to be criticized
All the time.
all the time.
Who is this clown? Nobody needs to be criticized all the time. If you give good information, nobody's gonna criticize you because you can't back up your opinions with information, mate. If you are a clown, because that's what you are, if you cannot back up what you are saying, that's the problem. If I say something about an investment, I'm not gonna say it because it's not right. If I'm gonna say something, I can back up every single decision I do with facts. And you cannot do the same. That's why you don't wanna read the comment. That's why you wanna be blind.
It's like we don't know
One
everything.
person.
Yeah, one person. Stop. I don't wanna that they know that we don't know anything.
What your portfolio consists of.
Definitely. It's mostly just ETFs. Like the majority of it is VDHG now because that's easy. And I don't want to do the research into like individual stocks or
And
anything.
So now we go back on what she said at the start. Investing is easy. You actually have the easy way. Okay, you take the easy way. Yes, you take the easy path. You invest in a lot of companies. The problem with that is you are investing in companies that are already grown, that are already in big indexes. So you are never gonna get the growth that will give you a mid, small and nano cap if you know how to read the financials, if you know how to analyze a company. And that's two different approaches to investing. I'm not commenting. But you cannot say investing is easy because how you invest is easy, not investing in general. Investing is really hard.
Oh, I'm investing $1,000 a fortnight at the moment. I earn like 71K at my normal job. And then my apartment mortgage is so cheap as well. It's like $230 a week.
So I put it down on paper just to let you know. So she invests 26K a year and put in her mortgage 11K a year. Okay, so that is 37K a year in between investment and apartment, and everything else from the 72K goes in whatever she wants. So it's not bad, it's not great, it's a good amount for a young girl.
Yeah, you are very public with your numbers.
Yeah, well, no
it's
one
good.
really was talking about it when I was looking it up, and like everyone's so secretive about it. But like, what really? I don't know. I don't see like the negative in sharing it. So
The negative in sharing it, for starters, you can get bad people harassing you or do all the sort of thing against you. And the second reason is that if you're projecting your wealth, a lot of people are gonna listen to you. And that's a big problem if you don't know what you're talking about, or if you have not great idea about investing
the context is super important. Like my money is going really well at the moment.
at the moment.
I think like in general, like challenges I'm facing is like what I want to do with uni. Because after starting this Instagram, I think things have kind of changed and like more doors have opened. And it's like, do I even want to be an OT anymore? Do I want to like go and work in marketing instead?
No! No, no, no!
Please don't do it. Don't become a Queenie too. Like OT, occupational therapist, should be about helping people more than about money. So it's more a vocation. So I don't understand what's your problem. Do you want to become a clown? Or do you want to actually do something for society? Because that's what you should do. You know, you have money, you have your parents supporting you. Why don't give something back to society?
Yeah, I think automating it is like the key, because as soon as you have to actually make a decision, like it's really hard. But I've automated everything, so I automatically invest $1,000 a fortnight. Like that's kind of why Polar is really good, because you can set up the auto invest.
Is taking responsibilities out of your hands a good thing? Really?
As long as you automate stuff and you're not actively making the decision every day, I think that's a lot easier.
What are some of the biggest, myths that you've found people in your community talk about, or when it comes to investing, that you would say?
The biggest one, investing is for rich people. Like investing is how you get rich. It's not for wealthy people.
You are talking for a privileged point of view. A lot of people don't have the means, even if they are working full time, to do what you are doing, or to have the same security. That's what you have, security, to try things. A lot of people don't have that.
And then investing is hard. Like sure, it's hard to learn about initially, but once you start investing, you can automate it and it's easy.
Easy? You don't have idea of what the real investing is, the research and everything else that goes into it. You just put money in an ETF, or in few of them, but that's not the entire picture of investing. That's what you're doing is really easy, but you pay fees to get your funds managed from somebody else. So
If you were to give advice to yourself back when you started, would you have done anything differently?
Yeah, invest more in shares instead of saving for an apartment. I kind of wanted to buy property because my parents bought property, and that was always in my mind. It's like, oh, that's like success. You buy a house and you can show it off on Instagram and you can take a photo of it.
are you fucking kidding me?
Is this just me being bored and having money and being like, what do I do with all my cancelled time now?
Yeah, that's the main truth. You don't have problems that normal people have. If you have to consider yourself not backed up by your parents, not backed up by anybody, your approach is gonna be different. And what you're doing is influencing those people, taking a different approach because they see you. And they don't have idea of where they're coming from. Because they just see a poster, they just see something on Instagram, something on TikTok. You don't give them a clear picture. That's what the problem with influencers is. They don't give a clear picture of the reality. You come from a good place, you're going for a better place. A lot of people don't have the ability to support losses. It has the reality. Anyway, I really enjoyed the transparency of this girl, and you know, whatever I agree or disagree with her, at least she works, she studies, and I disagree with all the influencer thing, but at the end she is a pretty good example when it comes to save money. Okay, it's not a good example how to invest money. It should be called saving with Tash instead of investing with Tash. And you know, Tash, everything is about giving value to the society, give value back to the society. If you talk about investing, you give little value back to the society. If you help them to save money, you give them a lot of value back. That's just my opinion. Thank you for watching, guys, and I hope you enjoyed it. We are gonna to maybe talk more about those two guys, the equity mates, in the next one. Bye bye.